coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You've got a friend now. Into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on, let's take a seat and tune in.
Welcome to The Coaches Are In. This episode is brought to you by A Captivating Career with Joyce Dungy Proctor. Yes, we are so excited to be here for another episode of The Coaches Are In, where we have real, raw, and relatable conversations to help you move to your next level. I'm Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon, CEO of Powerhouse Coaching, Operations Extraordinaire, Alignment Coach, author, speaker, and publisher, and the creator of The Coaches Are In. And I'm going to let my co-hosts introduce themselves to you. Joyce?
Hey, hello. I'm Joyce Dungy Proctor, career strategist, speaker, and author. Also, the founder and president of Seminars by Joyce, The Total You Incorporated, and A Captivating Careers. I'm excited to be here this evening. Yes.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Malika, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. I am the founder of The Speak Her LLC, and also your confidence coach, and I'm an author, and I can't wait to engage with you this evening.
Awesome. Allison.
Hi, I am Allison Garrett, and I am your behavioral interventionist for women, and I am excited about being here tonight.
Awesome. So these are your coaches. Now we are kicking off this episode with Coach Talk, where we answer a viewer question, give our perspectives and our very opinionated opinions about the that they present to us. All right, so this week's question is obviously, from a sister, and she says, my fiance and I are supposed to be getting married in December, but he keeps threatening to push the wedding back until I stop spending frivolously and wasting money. His words, not mine. My credit is decent and I work. I pay my own bills, so I don't see what the issue is. He thinks I have a problem. I know I just like nice things and I work hard, so I deserve what I want. As long as I can pay my bills, I don't think he should try to control my money. How can I get him to stop harassing me about how I spend my money?
Oh. Oh, wow. I love this one. Well, I think for one, I found myself in a similar situation, but in the opposite. I had tried to regulate my husband's spending when we first got together. And I recognized that, similar to what the viewer said, what I do with my money is pretty much my business. So I decided to allow our finances to be separate, and the things that needed to be incorporated within the household were incorporated. I didn't want to be the financial police for him, and then he should not want to be the financial police for me. So I think there just needs to be some kind of agreement with purchases, right? You earn your money, you should be able to spend it the way you want. But if the household bills are taken care of, I don't necessarily know what the problem is unless there's more to it. If he senses there's a problem, maybe you just have different spending habits, but you don't both get to do whatever you want. You kind of have to come together and make an agreement of what's going to work best for both of you.
Yes. That is so juicy. I love this topic. It takes me back like 100 years to the beginning. Now, clearly, I believe in my heart of hearts that you do have to have like a plan together. But I think you have to come together and agree on something that's going to work for both people. And the good thing about it is they're finding out before the wedding and not after the wedding. generally opposites do attract when it comes to just about everything in life. So I think if they come together and they're both open, you got to be open, that I think
That's
they
the
can
key
work
word.
something out. Yeah, you got to be open. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to get into who's who in my home.
Maybe later.
Yeah, later.
You know, I have my question for them is, are you going to counseling? Are you going to premarital counseling?
Yeah.
Okay. Because those are, money can be a marriage breaker.
Yes.
If you're not on the same page. So I would ask, are you all going to counseling? And if you are premarital counseling, what have you discussed? And maybe this is something that needs to be discussed, and you need to come up with some ground rules, some thoughts on how you want to spend. What's a deal or no deal? Who's going to take the lead in the finances, right? Who's going to take the lead in that, if any? Will you have a joint account? Will you be saving together? All of those things I think are so helpful to do during a counseling session when there's a third party who can provide you with some insight about the topic.
Mhm. That's good. All of your perspectives are good and valuable. Now, you know, I got to be contrarian.
Of course, we're waiting.
Be the
Give it to
advocate.
us.
Be the advocate.
All right. So when this question came in, I read it multiple times because I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? So first, now maybe her fiance is actually threatening her, but it doesn't really sound like a threat if he's kind of like, we might need to push things back till we get this thing together. And I see some wisdom in his position that we even if we have different money styles and behaviors, that we need to be on one accord with what is happening in this household financially before we come together financially, because sis saying my money, you're about to enter a partnership. So while you may decide to have some individual accounts and then maybe a working joint account,
Yes.
It's still a partnership. And if you're doing it right, if you're doing marriage right, what's yours is his and what's his is yours. So I think there needs to be a shift in her perspective. And I really wonder kind of what else is going on here? Because why did you even send this email in, right? Yeah. I'm like, is there some control issues? Is there something that has you spending in such a way that he is willing to delay the marriage until y'all get this together? And you're pretty much like, as long as I pay my own bills, like, he shouldn't have anything to say about it. But this man is supposed to be your protector,
yes,
your provider, you know, your pastor, your prophet. He's supposed to be all of that.
Everything.
And you're limiting his ability to kind of be the leader of the home. And I'm not saying that to put women in like this subservient place, but I believe in the order that God has created. And I think there is some co-leadership that happens there, but let him act as your husband. Let him be willing to take care of you. Because I just see a whole lot of other issues coming out if they don't get this together. So I'm actually glad that fiance is kind of taking a stance and saying, hey, we got to get this thing together before we start mixing it up. And it probably is a lot deeper than what she has shared that has him this concerned. So that's my perspective.
I agree. We probably don't have the whole story.
I'm sure we don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's presented kind of very one-sided, and obviously she has an issue with someone trying to influence what she does with her money anyway. And you know, I know, you know, we got the new woman who is so very independent. That might be part of it, kind of like society and what we say women are, especially Black women, and you got to be able to do for yourself and don't depend on no man. All of that could be wrapped up in here. We really don't have a lot of information.
Right.
Yeah, but there is enough information to say, yeah, you and him probably need to talk down. So sit down and talk to somebody.
Yes, because it's a deal breaker sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to pause for a moment and take a commercial break, and then we will be back. And I'm going to ask Dr. Malika and Joy specifically, because Allison already shared a little bit about what happened in her marriage. I want them to share a little bit about how they money in there.
That's right.
All right, so we'll be right
Okay.
back from our sponsor.
Are you a career professional looking to have more passion and purpose in the work that you do, or experiencing a career transition? My name is Joyce Dungy Proctor. I come to you with more than 25 years of experience mentoring women just like you who desire to create a captivating career, build a powerful personal brand, and accelerate their path to creating influence, impact, and income. Join our Rock Your Brand at acaptivatingcareer.com.
All right, so I'm so feeling the whole idea of the independent woman. I think that was me, and I'm talking about my second marriage. So there were some things that I had already decided I would never let another person do. Within the guidelines of understanding, being a helpmate and all of those things of what God ordained. I just think that even in that, for me, there were just different habits that he had that I wasn't accustomed to. He deals with cash. You dealing with cash, you don't know where the money's going, where it comes out. Like, you don't went to the ATM like 3 times this month, and you can't track cash. And I was just the opposite. So I think for me, it was more like understanding that I couldn't control how he spent his money, but we did make an agreement, which is what all of you ladies said, of how we would handle finances moving forward, so that I don't have to stress out over that or attempt to, worry about what he's doing. So I shared mine. Now, all right, ladies, tell us about an experience that you had, in your marriage or in your relationship where this was something similar, or it may or may not have been an issue. How did you handle it?
Well, I mean, I'll volunteer to go. I'll volunteer to go. And I must tell you, I can manage the money. I can manage money really, really well. Now, have I always been able to do so? No. We clearly came together and decided that, yes, you can be independent within certain things, but there's a threshold that we all have to communicate in terms of a spend. And 35 years, it's been working wonderfully for us. In the beginning, sometimes you would maybe put a dry cleaner bag over something that was new. I mean, after all, I did work in retail. I did work in retail for a long time, women's apparel and fashion. So, and then I learned, and we communicated, and we decided what was going to work for us. We put it in place, and it still doesn't cause us to lose the independence per se, but there's a lot of communication, and we have a plan that's in place that we work, and it works for us. Yeah. Do I sound like a politician, kind of?
So is there like a certain rule of how much money you can spend, or when the spending reaches a certain limit, do you have to discuss it? Like, what does that look like?
I'll be really honest with you. If you're going to make a certain level of purchase, in the past when we were doing those things, because now we're not, but in the beginning when we were making larger purchases and things like that, then we had a threshold where we were going to communicate that prior to it happening, and be in agreement. Not to say, well, no, you can't do this, or no, you can't do that, but to be in agreement. Finances are a very, very important part of a marriage. I'm here to let you know that. It really is a huge, important part of of your marriage. And like Dr. Sharita said, it's not so much about you can't do this or the man is this and he has to do that, but it really is communicating. It really is having an understanding, and it really is peeling the onion back in the beginning and knowing what the values are from when you were growing up individually, because there's a why to everything that we do.
Right.
So maybe instead of shooting someone down when you see that there's a spending process going on, maybe seek to understand why and what happened. And so some households have, probably had to do something like that, but we did find something that works for us, and it's been working wonderfully. So what I say is communication, transparency, and honesty, and not being afraid to talk about money. Like it's not the elephant in the room. Talk about it. That's all. That's all I got.
That's good.
I would say for the Turner household, in all transparency, we are a work in progress. I think something that Joyce said, which is very true, two people come from two different ways of spending, seeing how money, your relationship with money is so different. So bringing that together has really, we are a work in progress. What we have done, though, is we have entertained multiple scenarios, right? So one account, two different accounts, your account, my account, our account,
The account.
Right. And so I think what we're doing now works. But what we've done lately is more intentional conversation about what we're doing with that joint account. Okay, let's do this. Let's I'm laughing at Allison. Let's pay cash for this. Let's save this and pay cash for this. But I think that what we've done, we are definitely a work in progress. And this year will be 25 years and we're still a work in progress. So I'm not ashamed to say that. We just are.
That's right.
Yeah, so in my household, I do manage the budget and all of that. We have a joint account, and for many years we had only a joint account. Probably the last decade or so, it's been a joint account, and then our own individual accounts. I can access his individual account. He can't access mine. It's not
Another topic.
It's not really by design, though. It's really just the way the accounts are set up, because it's through USAA, and like he's like the primary account holder, and it was attached to the joint account. But then when I opened mine, he wasn't added. But the thing is, for years, I'm gonna say not until maybe like 4 years ago, he didn't even know how to log into the bank account. Like every time he wanted to know something, he texted me, asked me about it. Or asked me for the login information. And it really got to a point where, like, I do a good job. I can be a spender.
No,
I learned that about myself. That when I spend, like if I don't spend for a while, I feel like I'm depriving myself, and then I might just go crazy, right? Or if I have something going on and I'm really stressed, I would use spending to kind of ease my pain. But it took me a long time to figure out that those were my patterns. Those things are under control now. And also because I'm at a point in my life where I don't really need anything. Like all I want to do is travel, eat good food, get body treatments, and go to concerts and plays. Like I don't need anything.
And all of that's free.
None of it's free. but I don't really have anything to like spend money on outside of those things, really. But even though I've had to do it, and we never talked about it, we just kind of fell into that. First month of marriage, like, okay, what do we got this joint account? What are we doing? I started doing it, and then I just had control over it. And we've had a couple of falling outs there where it's like, well, he didn't like something I did, or whatever. And it's like, well, why don't you do it? And here's the thing: he won't spend frivolously. or waste money per se, but he also won't necessarily make sure that everything gets paid on time. So it's just like
there's a balance.
Yeah, and that's not because he doesn't care. It's just he is not a detail oriented person like I am, and he doesn't use planners and to-do lists and all of that stuff. So it just made sense for me to do it. I no longer have any resentment over it.
No longer.
We just operate in flow. We do talk about the budget. We budget. And at the end of April, I was doing the budget for May. And, I'm saying, here's where we are. I mean, we get down to, this is how much is going to be left in the joint account after everything is taken care of.
Nice.
He gets a spending allotment. I get a spending allotment that goes into our individual accounts. And then, we make it work. Sometimes he has to supplement mine. Sometimes I have to supplement his, and it just works. And that's, we've been married 26 years. And it hasn't been like that all 26. I just say that.
We're all a work in progress, right? We all had to get it, right?
Progress. Yes. So what I would like to do now is actually switch gears, and I'm going to bring our guest experts onto the stage.
All right. Well, I am excited. We're all excited, I guess, because we have today on our episode Nishaea Richardson. She's the budget guru, a financial coach who works with high-achieving professionals who want to enjoy increase in their wealth and master their money like a boss. So, welcome, Nishaea. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm loving this conversation.
I did a little bit of research there, and one of the things that you talk about is showing up in your awesomeness, and you really hit mindset when it comes to finances. And so could you talk a little bit about that, like how mindset comes into play when you're working with clients, you're working with groups, and how that pertains to wealth and increase?
Yes. So actually, Dr. Joyce nailed it when she talked about how, our different financial situations and the way that we grew up, it actually affects the way that we manage our money now. And if you don't know anything about money mindset, you're probably trying to figure out, you're probably saying, I have a spending problem, right? Or I can't get my spending under control, or you're questioning, like, how do I get my spending under control? Why is it that I want to spend and my partner wants to save? Well, that all goes back to our relationship with money, how we grew up with money, some of the incidents that we saw relating to money. So, I like to talk about, some of us may have had a family member that passed away, and there was a large settlement or a life insurance policy that had to be dispersed amongst the family. And a lot of times that causes fights, right? So now we're holding on to that incident where we're always remembering, when my family got that large settlement, there was fights. So now I'm going to sabotage my money goals. I don't want a lot of money because I don't want to fight with my family, right? Because that's what you connect money to. Or if resources were scarce when you were younger, now that you have the money, now you want to buy all the things because you couldn't have those things when you were younger. So those types of things are stuff that we don't think about, but subconsciously they're affecting the way that we manage our money now.
That's good. Really,
I love that. I love that. Yeah, when you talk about mindset, I think it's probably, would you say that it's missing in most people's lives individually, and then that complicates it when people come together?
Yes, because if you don't identify that before you come into a partnership, then now you're bringing your stuff, they're bringing their stuff, and you can't figure out why you can't get it together. So yeah, it's definitely something that each person needs to kind of figure out their own stuff, have that awareness. And then once they have the awareness, then they can ask themselves, do I want to disassociate myself from the things that I was taught about money, the things I saw? And then they can start taking action to to disassociate themselves and elevate their mindset. And then I think once both parties can do that, then they'll be great with money together when they have their partnership and they can understand why each person is the way they are with their money.
Okay.
Do you think people have the self-awareness or a certain level of self-awareness to be able to work through all of that on their own? Or do they really need to get connected to a professional that can help them identify what those issues are and then, how to work through them?
I think both. I think it depends on the person because, we're all different. Some of us, we're like self-educators, right? Like we can read a book, we can retain the information and take action. And then other people need a little guidance. They could read the information, but it's like, okay, somebody else help me through my stuff. So I think it depends on the person. But there's a couple of books that I have read that has helped me tremendously, but I've also, worked with different coaches and things like that as well. So I think a combination of both can really help somebody transition, turn that around significantly.
So do you have a money story? Like what even got you into doing this work? Is it from your own personal experience and struggles? Or were you, the person who, in high school, you knew you were gonna help people with their money some kind of way, and finance major in college or what?
No, I definitely have a money story. Which, I always share it because I find that people are embarrassed or they're ashamed because of where they are financially. And then they look at someone like me, who I'm a financial coach, and they're like, oh, I don't want her to judge me. And it's like, please stop. Like, my credit used to be busted. Like, I don't even know what the number was. And I refuse to go back and look because I don't want that negativity in my life anymore. But now, my score stays in the 800s and it's like normal to me. But I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that, things can turn around. But yes, I had low credit score. I literally lived paycheck to paycheck. Like I used to be excited to have an extra $10 after I paid all my bills every time I got paid. My mindset, I had a broke mindset. Everything that came in, I had to spend it. I used to get a new car every single year, and my payment was more than half of what my rent was. Like, I was living way beyond my means. And I always share this story. I remember I got my largest raise, which, allowed me to go home without working overtime. And before the number on the paycheck could clear, I went and invested in Invisalign, $6,000. And I was already in financial stress. So I didn't have the mindset to say girl, slow down. This is not what you want. So, it really took me to have a moment with myself to say this is not the life that I want to live anymore. I have to do something different. And from that moment, I had to sacrifice. I got an extra part-time job, which I hated, but it gave me the extra income that I needed. I actually got a new job that was paying me more, which then gave me access to sick leave that I wasn't using, which is also a poor mindset. You got to work hard for all of our money, right? And once I got access to that money, I paid off a lot of debt. With the second job, I paid off some credit cards, and then I went through the home buying process. I became a homeowner. I really turned everything around. And then a couple of years ago, it was right around the pandemic, I started working with a multi-level marketing finance company. And when I was doing that, I saw that there was a lot of people that were in the position that I was in 7-8 years ago. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm called to do something different. So I stopped doing that and I opened up my own financial coaching business. And I've been doing that ever since because I saw that so many people have a toxic relationship with their money and they're going through this cycle and not realizing that you can make a choice to do something different. But it may take a little sacrifice. You may have to get rid of some people out of your life, but things can turn around if you put everything into action and do the work.
Yes.
So good.
That's so powerful.
That's good. You know what, Nishaea, really quick question. What's the one thing you would tell people to do to take their knowing into doing, because you know better, you know you don't want this, you know this isn't right, but then what do you do to activate that thing, to get it started? What's the one thing that you would tell someone that the first thing they probably need to do?
I would say get very clear on the life that they want to live. You know, it sounds like, oh yeah, but no, that's it. Like once you realize like, this is not what I want anymore. Like I want something different. That right there is like the deciding factor. Like, all right, so what do I got to do? Like kick into gear and do something. Even if you don't know what the first step is, just having that awareness to say like, I don't want this anymore. Like something's got to give. Like you got to get tired of your own crap, basically. Like that's just what it all boils down to.
Yeah. Tired, being sick and tired.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Sometimes you got to feel squeezed. Like, I'm sick of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Sharita and I were just having a similar conversation.
Right. Yes. All right. So we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, and we will be right back.
Are you a career professional looking to have more passion and purpose in the work that you do, or experiencing a career transition? My name is Joyce Dungy Proctor. I come to you with more than 25 years of experience mentoring women just like you who desire to create a captivating career, build a powerful personal brand, and accelerate their path to creating influence, impact, and income. Join our Rock Your Brand at acaptivatingcareer.com.
Well, Nishaea, can you share with our audience something that they can take away immediately and apply to their financial situation?
Yes, that money management is a form of self-care. So many people think that, you know, money is just money, but think about all the times that you were stressed about something. A lot of times it was around finances, right? So if you are managing your money well, then that reduces the stress that's in your life, right? Because it's not just around your money, but now that your money is in control, other parts of your life can now get into control, right? It also allows you to prioritize your needs. So, you know, sometimes we forget that we really only need the basic stuff so that we can survive, right? So if you know that, okay, you have food, shelter, transportation, then utilities, right?
Yes.
Then you don't have to stress about all the other things in life when you know that your basic needs are met because you're managing your money well, right? You're also investing in your future. So even though sometimes we think about the short-term goals of, okay, I need to save for an emergency fund, I need to pay my monthly bills, if you're able to also prepare for your future by investing for retirement, have a long-term savings goal, maybe you're looking to, you know, set up an account for your kids' college fund, whatever it may be, when you set a foundation for your future, now your day-to-day is not as stressful because you know that you're set for the day-to-day and your future. And we also talked about having that strong relationship, that healthy relationship with your money. So that first starts with us and the way that we manage our money. If you manage your money well, you're going to feel really good about yourself. And that's also going to translate into your other relationships. So you can show up to them more confidently, more powerfully, and you can also have that strong communication with your partners, your family, whoever it may be, because you're confident about what you're doing with your money and you have a healthy relationship with it. And then the last thing is it helps you practice self-discipline by having great money management skills. You know, when you need to maybe fall back on saving, or you want to spend because you want to go on the vacation because you did do well with managing your money. It shows that you have the self-discipline, and when you need to put in the work, you can put in the work, and when you can play, you can play. So money management is a form of self-care.
Oh my goodness, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much. How can our guests get in contact with you? Please share your information.
Yes, so either they can contact me on my website at she'sthebudgetguru.com, or I'm on most of the social platforms by my first and last name, Nishaea Richardson. They can DM me, and if they are someone that's like, hey girl, I need your help, then we can schedule a call and go from there.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay. Awesome.
All right, ladies, I want to thank you for tuning in. That is it for this episode of The Coaches Are In. Thank you for joining us. Thanks again to our sponsor, A Captivating Career with Joyce Dungy Proctor. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Coaches Are In. And if you'd like to have your question featured on The Coaches Are In, submit it at thecoachesrn.com/askthecoaches, and you'll be able to find that link below. And then we will see you at the same time, same place next week. But for now, the coaches are out.
The coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into The Coaches Are In. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You've got a friend now. Into The Coaches Are In. With authenticity. Come on, let's take a seat and tune in.